straight out of the Oval Office today. President Trump just announced a massive new initiative aimed at securing critical minerals. So we're going to break down the mechanics, the money, and exactly how this could totally rewire the global supply chain.
Now, to really grasp the scale of today's announcement, we first have to look at the immediate problem they're trying to solve. During his address, the president laid out the core issue with this exact quote. For years, American businesses have risked running out of critical minerals during market disruptions. That's the urgent reality driving today's news. They're pointing directly at the extreme vulnerability of our supply chains, the raw materials we absolutely need for everything from your smartphone to massive manufacturing plants. It's an ongoing threat to domestic industry that they say requires immediate intervention.
So what's the administration's solution? It's officially called Project Vault. Think of this as a brand new, dedicated reserve strictly for critical minerals. The stated goal here is literally to build a massive buffer. It's a physical and economic safety net designed to make absolutely sure American businesses and workers are shielded from sudden market shortages. The president explicitly noted they want to prevent a repeat of those brutal supply chain disruptions we all navigated just a year ago. It's all about creating a hard safety net for domestic manufacturing. And this brilliantly illustrates the strategy shift. Traditionally, massive stockpiles, like the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, have been kept around strictly for national defense. But Project Vault represents a deliberate pivot. This is a reserve built specifically for American industry. We're talking about a shift from purely military stockpiling to actual economic and industrial defense, basically making sure civilian businesses don't get locked out of the raw materials they need to survive.
Of course, getting a logistical beast of this size off the ground takes serious capital. So let's look at the hard financial mechanics released today and see exactly how Project Vault is actually going to be funded.
First up, we have a staggering $10 billion. That initial $10 billion is slated to come directly through Export-Import Bank financing. That is the heavy-hitting federal capital meant to kickstart this whole industrial reserve and give it real purchasing power right out of the gate. Right behind that federal money is an additional $2 billion. This secondary injection of capital is expected to come directly from private sector financing. So you're seeing a really deliberate move to combine public mechanisms with private market funds to get this initiative capitalized fast. Altogether, you're looking at a $12 billion financing structure, with $10 billion mobilized from the Export-Import Bank and that extra $2 billion coming from the private sector. This multi-tiered financial backing is set up to rapidly scoop up these critical resources from the global market. But here's a really fascinating and honestly kind of surprising claim from the administration about all this money. They're asserting that this won't be some permanent drain on public funds. In fact, as the president explicitly stated, they expect the American taxpayer to actually turn a profit on this endeavor. How? Well, the stated mechanism is that the interest generated on the startup loans used to launch Project Vault is projected to bring in a net positive return over time.
Section 2. Beyond the Vault. The broader strategy.
Now, according to today's transcript, the administration says they've been taking what they call extraordinary steps over the last year to ensure the U.S. gets the rare earths it needs. So there's actually a three-pronged approach happening right alongside Project Vault. First, they are actively investing in brand new mining projects. Second, they are pushing aggressively to expedite the federal permitting process. And third, they're locking in major international mineral deals. These actions are all meant to complement the vault by actually increasing the total supply, not just storing it.
Let's zoom in closely on that second point for a second, because the president put some very specific, targeted emphasis on it: expediting federal permitting. If you follow the industrial sector at all, you know that getting federal permits for new mines is usually this massive, totally complex, years-long headache. Well, the administration noted today that they are tackling this bureaucratic bottleneck head-on. Specifically, they highlighted Lee Zeldin taking the lead to streamline these federal programs, making it clear that speeding up mine permitting is a major priority. But, domestic extraction alone isn't going to cut it. That's why they are also actively signing major mineral deals all over the globe. The stated goal here is to make absolutely sure that U.S. remains fully stocked by leveraging international partnerships, leaning into diplomacy, and essentially ensuring that foreign nations keep cooperating in the global mineral trade. So there you have it. We've broken down a massive $12 billion public-private financing structure, a historic pivot from national defense stockpiling to industrial economic defense, and a huge global strategy announced just moments ago. But as the dust settles on this breaking news explainer, the ultimate test is still ahead of us. Will Project Vault, combined with faster permitting and all these new global deals, actually permanently secure the American supply chain against the next big market shock? It's a massive question. It's going to dictate the future of domestic manufacturing, and you can be